Got Zach Burry and company.
Hey,
What's
How
up?
you doing? What up?
chilling, man. How about you?
Oh man, just living life. This is the third of three podcasts that we do on Saturday.
Thanks for having me on here.
No
That's what's
problem.
up,
Thanks for
man.
stopping by. I know your schedule is busy. You know what I mean? With that album that you were just previewing before we went live. I heard that. Had to, keep that on.
Hey, yeah, that's what it's
That's
about.
why we're
Thanks for
late.
the shout out. They sound like they like it, right?
Yeah, yeah, no, that's some good vibes for real though.
That's why we're a little behind because
Yeah, we a little behind because
listens to some behind the scenes stuff.
Thank
you
you.
know when
It's
a
an
man
awesome
says that he made
voice.
the album like pretty much from scratch with a little bit of help
Yeah,
by
man.
himself.
I've been working
It's
on it,
kind of
like-
like our little preview that we got after we went off air with John and Sahil and got a little taste of what's coming up with Dustwalker.
Dustwalker has some tunes ready for y'all. Holy, if only you knew.
There's some interesting stuff coming out of that camp too.
Yeah. So Zach, what's good with you? What's new?
I've just been working a lot on this album. I've been producing, like mixing all the vocals down lately, and then I'm only down to 2 more vocals that I have to do, and then it's pretty much it. And then I gotta design the cover, and I gotta drop it with the video. That's what I'm planning on doing.
All right.
Video of it's like an album trailer, so it like has a little bit of snippets of all the tracks on it.
Okay, I got a
And
question.
then, okay.
Everybody here knows you but me. Tell me a bit about yourself, buddy.
Well, I've been making music. I've been playing guitar for about 3 years now. I think I've been playing live shows for about 2 years now. When I met the block, probably like 1 or 2, close to 2 years back at least. Now
Yeah.
it's gotta be right. And yeah, I've started writing since like grade 11, which probably must have been 5 years ago now. And then I've just always been into guitar because my uncle like kind of put me onto some blues. And then as in high school, I started listening to rap music and then thinking I could rap, and then started writing to beats like that. And then I started making all my own. Like I started playing guitar, and then I eventually got a drum set and a bass, and I'm just trying to make music like that. And that's kind of the main thing that I've been doing lately.
Sweet deal.
And I've been I don't know, I'm just into art, I guess you could say. Photography, I've been into a little bit.
All right.
Made
Actually,
a couple music videos with the block.
what up? What up? And in one of those videos, you'll actually see me rocking this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call it vintage now. This vintage vibrant arrow sweater or t-shirt that was
Yeah.
made for me by Zach Burry. You know what I mean? With the specific color coordination that I asked for. I mean, like, so what's going on with that?
I've still got that going, but I've just been mainly trying to focus on my album right now. But I do want to come back with merch. Eventually, once I get like a website going, and I want to have like hopefully like embroidered hoodies and stuff like that. That's my plan.
Right on, right
But
on.
yeah, I could still make it. I have a whole bunch of shirts that like I could still dye, but it's hard to find the time to do everything like that.
Yeah,
I still have some shirts that I got to get to some people as well.
true, true. Well,
So I'm still interested. That's what I mean. Like I was into art, like designing clothes and painting a little bit, but like nothing crazy. And then I don't know, music.
oh, I mean, like, that's dope. That's dope.
I kind of
Like the
your
fact that you're
foundation was the blues, though.
doing all that
That's where
stuff
your shit
still.
started, right?
I feel like that
Yeah.
kind of gave it a little bit of a unique taste compared to some of the other stuff that was.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I can say that. That's what I think happened, but who knows, right?
That's pretty cool. It's rare. I don't ever hear someone's foundation is from the blues. Just like someone be like, "Hey, my first tap into music was jazz," and you're like, "Really?"
Yeah,
Like,
not around.
anything like blues. So I find that unique.
Yeah. You design clothes?
I have, yeah. Like there's a shirt downstairs that was there,
Do you like
and
tailor wise or like more in a
I
print sort
ordered
of
the
style?
blank shirts, and then I would tie dye
Okay.
them in different colors. That like he asked for red, white, and black
Yeah,
for
yeah.
Expose the North, and then I did that up for him, right?
That's pretty
Yeah.
cool, man.
Yeah.
So I was
really-
doing that about a year ago, and I was working with this other guy too, and I still have like a shelf full of white shirts in my studio that I could still dye. So,
kind of kind of working on that sort of like
but I mean, I just really want to get my album out because it's been way too long and I've been lacking. So
it's always been way too long for getting an album out. I think that's kind of. I feel like that's something like musician wise, it's always a deal.
I've just been feeling it more so lately, and I'm
Yeah.
so close now that I've been working for like months on it just recently.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Hey, LG, to catch something that I missed a second ago,
What's
my
that?
background is blues and folk.
Hey,
Nice.
Well,
That's how I learned to play guitar with a bunch of folk and blues musicians.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Goddamn folk
Two
and
unique
blues
members in
musicians.
the house. That's nice.
Goddamn motherfucking
And now
blues
we're
musicians.
Motherfucking.
Hey, they got the feels. They got the
Yes.
feels like none other.
Oh.
Yeah.
In a way. Some of them.
Right.
Oh, where's my? In my opinion, I
I
don't care.
respect that.
I got a beverage that I have in my well decaled cup, my sip cup. You know what I mean? Expose the North,
What
be
you
jewels
sipping on?
things. That's a good question. I'm not trying to infringe on anybody's copyright, but you can catch what you're sipping on if you follow Johnny Armani on Facebook. Check him out.
Yes,
Shout
yes.
out to
Right
Johnny
now,
Shout
Yeah.
out to Johnny.
I have that pesh. I got the pesh. You know what I mean? That twisted pesh. Yes. The pesh tea.
Double.
If you're not careful, it's
Cold.
gonna knock
It's
you
called
out.
the sweet tooth.
It packs a punch.
Shots of something with shots of what?
Oh man, shots of la pesh.
Al, how was that dinner, buddy?
Shots of la pesh.
But yeah, let's talk about LG's cooking for a minute.
Damn.
Yeah, we going around the table. We going around the table right now because the Savage Circle is how we do. Like we just wrapped up
Do we
LG's
have to
cooking
be
with the block and
savage?
DUI.
Because I liked his cooking.
Oh man, like
Well, let's be real. I assisted, but most of it was who's cooking, right? Like I
Yeah.
was definitely on the learning seat today, but add my own ingredients, how I add them, where I add them. That was really cool today.
Folking.
Yeah, every Saturday is either something I either add to or I'm learning. So
My phone
that's
lies.
really the cool thing about LG's cooking is I also am down to like still learn new stuff. Or
Well,
how
today
another
was
person
sliders, man. It was
prepares
something
things.
easy, something quick, something the block wanted.
yeah, well, I'm not gonna lie, like that would have like other than the salad or like a mini poutine would have went nice with that, you know what I mean? That would have been
True
another
say.
side that would have, you know what I mean, accompanied that well.
Exploded.
That was a couple of weeks ago.
That was
Yeah. Yeah, but you can never go wrong with
Yeah,
poutine
we'd be in
unless
a
you have it
coma
more
if
than 3
that
days in a
happened.
row.
that was actually like way too
Poutine
good
salad
for.
and sliders, we'd be laying out on the couch.
That was actually way too good for something quick
Yes.
and yet quick
Yeah.
quick.
and yet quick.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Like, he's like, this will be done in like 20 minutes. Like, nah, bro, I don't know what you're talking about. 20 minutes later.
No, like I was watching them knead the meat, and yeah, it was like there was definitely some skill in. Okay, there was definitely some skill in kneading the meat. Like
Okay.
it's like it's the texture and shit that was coming out at the end of the
Oh,
day.
cool.
I was watching when that was going on. And it was
Yeah.
just kind
You
of
saw
like
what we were doing, right?
Yeah, and it's like yeah, as weird as it sounds, it's like it definitely. I was kind of watching the texture that was coming out and going like, shit, this can be real because
That's right. I caught you sitting over here just in euphoria. He's like,
oh my
I'm
he
god,
like,
looks
dude.
over and
believe
I'm
you
like,
can't
oh
play with
my
meat
god,
too
he's in the
much.
trap. He's like, it smells good. I
Yeah.
just love sitting here
And that's the
being in this
thing.
moment. And
Oh,
That's
I
the
was-
thing,
got it.
because
Dude,
it
I was-
smells good.
Tell them about your passion for cooking.
There you go.
LG, tell them something
Right?
about it.
So,
I was swimming in that shit, man. You know,
Bro,
it's just
it's-
like I felt like a fish living in like a fishbowl made of pure.
Yeah.
It's fluid.
That's that kind of energy,
Eh?
that can be created in the kitchen. But I love cooking.
We had a good time today.
What brought you
Yeah.
to cooking?
Oh,
try to have a
man,
good time every
it's
Saturday,
actually, what brought me to cooking is just being around it a lot. So the application I got was kind of just like not really where it's like you had choices. It was more likely, hey, what's for dinner? What's for breakfast?
What's
It's
in the
food.
fridge?
It's food. It's food. It's
Yeah.
food, right? So my application was now okay, right? So how is it prepared? And from like even a young stage, I even saw how chicken was prepared and how we get any.
Was that something your parents were like kind of?
My dad was more likely the forefront farmer.
Yeah.
And kind of like raised me how to raise chickens, build a coop.
Well, no, but I mean more in the sense of like, I think about my friend Paula. Like her cooking is amazing, and part of the reason is her mom is like that classic Italian.
I'm just combining all the assets, right? So how to basically get the food.
Yeah. Well, that's next.
Break it down to cooking it instead of just like how we get food today now, right?
Yeah, that's like next level shit or past level shit.
Exactly. And then the preparation was really how my mom marinates and like literally puts her soul in
marination part is a very important part of it.
Her soul into cooking, so she always had like a happy attendance.
Yeah.
When she does it, right?
Yeah.
So it was always like, ooh, she just loved formulating and completely, fundamentally enjoyed doing it.
Yeah. It just the whole process. And
eventually, it slowly picked up onto me. But at first, I was like, man, because I didn't ask her ingredients. Where today, to learn cooking is more like auditorial. Someone can tell you something like, oh, okay, that's what I do. With me and her, it was more like you just watched.
Yeah.
It was me watching, right? So that became like technique. You saw how the dumplings were made. You saw how she put the seasoning on the meat. You saw how she marinated something and put it away. So it was just like over time, it absorbed. It absorbed, and then it became a little bit of what I saw around my homies. I would go cook with Corey. I'd come cook with Block. I'd come cook with anyone.
But it's like you've got this,
and it's just that energy, right?
But you have this fundamental interest in it, because I mean, like you said, like you're going to a friend's house, and instead of like, wow, what video games are you playing or whatever, it's just like, what are you cooking there?
Yeah. That's dope, and I mean, like, and he does it well too. It creates like he's created a reputation for himself, a bit of one with his cooking because, like jerk chicken, bro. Like people are gonna know you for that.
Next time though, I gotta really make some spicy
dumplings.
Jerk chicken.
The fried dumpling,
I've been
and now with
making
his
it to
new
attend
recipe,
to the people who are not really crazy with like a spicy palate, right? So I've always tenderized the spice, but next time it's made, I'm throwing a Scotch bonnet in it, and it's gonna be on flames.
Well, you got to do it. You have to do it with the fried dumpling, the new way that we have that with our new recipe. That's gotta.
The secret way you're not allowed to talk about anymore.
Yeah, we can't talk about how we do it. Like I wasn't even supposed to tell Elle that, but I'm just like, okay, you fried it to the texture, like you fried it to a texture that my sensei would have approved of.
Yes.
So I had to, you know what I mean? I had to bestow upon you those two ingredients that will just bring your dumpling game to the next level.
True,
and
it did, bro.
You know what I mean? Like
now
I
we need
think
to
it was
stuff
possible,
with some jerk chicken, shredded jerk chicken, fried dumpling.
Yeah. That sounds like a good look.
That's really easy to do.
Yeah. All right.
But that's what I'm into right now. A little bit of that is just working on some beats, a little bit of album coming out. I don't have a definite time just because, I have some features on there that I'd like some people to be on there just to share a good vibe of an album.
Can't rush it, right?
That's
what I've been on.
You can't rush quality.
Rush the process.
Yeah, I've just got to rush
the vibe is right.
But you can rush quantity, and it's amazing sometimes how like some gold moments come out of quantity.
Yes.
And a lot of
we
crap.
banged out like 50 sliders today.
Yes.
So somebody I remember at one point called it the Edgar Allan Poe, method to writing. Most of Edgar Allan Poe's shit is shit.
Yeah.
But The Raven, Telltale Heart are these brilliant pieces of literature. But most of his stuff is like not worth getting. Don't buy the full compilation, but the greatest hits are pretty solid,
I enjoyed reading his stuff from front to cover.
I don't know. I just remember hearing that for some reason. It allowed me to put out like not average stuff. Like some of it's actually some of my favorite stuff.
Right.
But I definitely didn't have the quality control when I was throwing it out, where it kind of was like, this needs to be the perfect album ever sort of thing. And I mean, honestly, if you listen to albums going back to the 90s, and I'll say pre-Backstreet Boys era, you can get some really hit or miss great albums. You know, where the sound's not great, it's mixed
I've been kind of
horribly.
feeling that. Like, that is a thing I was thinking about, because back in the day, even like imagine back to like the 60s or something like that, and they produced an album.
I would almost say they were pickier back then, because you had this kind of corporate control and only so many people were allowed through. I'd say by the 80s, the 70s and 60s, yeah, you can definitely
So maybe more so.
like what's the, I think they're called the Cramps or something like that.
The Cramps was the 70s.
That was the band that was like
Pat Smear.
horrible, like amazingly horrible.
I just said they were
Yeah, there's a singer
amazingly
from River
horrible.
Crappy just
No,
albums
like
up
it's
on
actually when
stage.
you listen to it, it's like this is horrible
He would kinda talk
until
like
it's
on stage.
it's
It's right along the
influential
lines
to a
of
lot
PG.
of really heavy, like technical prog people, because it broke all
Shocking.
of the rules of
Oh,
what could
okay.
be
It was
listenable
a
at the
different genre
time.
of music. Okay.
Yeah, like it's
You wanna know
like
somebody who's worth
60s
Cramps?
horrible. It wasn't the Cramps. It was this.
G.G. Allen?
No, not even in that vein. It was this band from the 60s that was three sisters that the father thought they were going to change the world in something, but they were just like really below average musicians.
So Bill
And they
Ted
put
is
out
it?
this album that's brilliant, because it does, like, none of them can even stay in time with each other.
Ooh.
But you remember that, but what's coming, I know, but what's coming out of it is stuff that I guess, like, and you see it in even modern music, or where, yeah, like take hip hop for instance, where the drum beat is kind of, you take it by itself, it's playing in one sort of rhythm,
Correct.
and then you can add other layers on that are all different rhythms. So these girls had 3 different rhythms and 3 different vocal harmonies
Yes.
that did not mix.
So they were not in sync.
But they
But
were.
it sounded good.
It
It's
sounded.
like some experimental.
Yeah, like it was definitely something where it didn't sound good, but
Interesting.
after about 20 minutes of listening to it, you're kind of like, I've definitely never heard this before.
You sure you're not
And
talking
this
about
is-
Andy Warhol?
Them, right?
The Shags.
The Shags. Let me see
Yeah.
that.
Oh, one second.
Yeah, definitely worth checking out.
Foundation, man. The Shags. Double G.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're not good. Like, not at all. But you will listen to the album, and it will definitely, you'll see stuff that modern music, or music, I'd say even going into the hip hop era, where you get guys that Jay Dilla, or guys that really mix these beats that do not work,
Mm-hmm.
but they
got the
He
work.
makes them work.
Yeah.
Like, how do
Yeah.
you do that?
Yeah, and it's like they're one of these bands that when you listen to it, they do not work. But then you listen to them and you're
I
like,
understand you. Yeah.
okay, you just have to count. You have to have. It's like watching a B movie.
It now becomes an acquired taste.
Kind of, but it's like watching a B movie, or like what's that? What's the original zombie flick? Romero, Night of the Living Dead.
Oh,
Complete B movie,
Wow.
but at the same time, completely
From dusk till
revolutionized the
dawn.
concept in movies.
Yes.
From
You know, they're kind of that band
Nice.
where it's so
Just
B
lost it.
and it's so horrible,
Mhm.
but it allowed that to happen.
It's got unique, and unique makes it different.
Yeah, well, not just unique, but it allowed that to happen. It allowed this for somebody to listen to it and go like, "Hey, this made it onto the radio." My weird ass idea can too, and that's how shit sometimes flourishes sideways, you know.
And it's like sometimes
Good angle.
not everybody's playing on key and stuff all the time, right?
Yeah, and it really is that.
But-
It's beautiful, but it's horrible.
Like, yeah,
Fusion
so-
jazz.
Yeah, it's one of my mysteries that I find to be something I don't ever want to be caught up in.
That's what I'm trying to learn how
I
to do.
never
and
want to
I'm
be
like,
caught up in that timing where I'm off time and it's what you just described it to be. Like, it's
Get really,
bad,
really
but
drunk.
it's okay. Right?
It's a really hard game to play. Like, I can think of a few people that played it well. Who's the-
Soundgarden did it
oh, what's the
awesome with
song I'm
missed
thinking right
timings and
off the bat?
offbeats.
game to play. That's funny.
Bismarcky.
Oh damn.
okay.
what's that song he had?
Just a friend.
Just a Friend, and that is a beautiful instance of a horrible fucking song. Actually, no, you know what? It's a beautiful song.
It's the story.
Horribly presented.
Okay.
The story's great. It's just
Oh,
the way he
baby,
sings.
yeah.
It's,
You got what I need. Yeah, that was exactly. You know,
and it's so
but
bad.
then that brings you to old dirty bastard who was
died
like,
already.
oh baby, I like it
They got the grit,
raw.
though.
You know what I mean?
Well,
I
yeah,
like it
and
raw.
it's like it's what you kind of end up with is a great melody horribly performed.
That's like-
and that is a
Everybody
beautiful
knows that, though. You think
Yeah.
about that, like that's like
Oh, and that's a
it's
great
so
song.
catchy, like you know.
Yep.
What I mean?
It's kind of like
And
Little
honest-
Wayne
and
on
honestly-
Soul
because
Train.
of that,
pitch,
because
the
it's
Yeah,
pitch.
Lil,
And,
yep.
and honestly, if he would have sung that well, I can guarantee that song sucks. If you tried to sing it well, like if you took like a really top end like jazz
Yes.
singer and like had
And it
them
was just
sing
on
it,
the
Put John
melody.
it would
Legend.
just, it'd
it
just be like I don't
Simple,
care.
like simple it up. Just put
I
John
don't
Legend
care.
on it. Be like John Legend. Sing the shit out of
There's
that.
a certain
John
charm
Legend
in
be
it.
like,
There's a certain interest in it.
It's
yeah.
and I don't
Playing
even
something, you know?
think it's like just like somebody going like okay he's just giving it that much. I don't think it's even that. I think from a musical point of view he's doing things with pitches that I can listen to and go like hey I'm gonna write a line on any instrument and instead of going to the perfect pitch
That
go
almost
to
kind of sounds like a that almost kind of sounds
you
like
know.
a guitar.
Go to the edge.
yeah exactly like kind of
I'll lay
pulling
money
those
that he
notes
did that on
right out
purpose.
and it's like yeah
Because like
And
look
that
at
put-
Radiohead and the song Creep.
Yes.
They went into the studio not wanting to record that song.
why
That's why it sounds the way it does. That's why he sang the way he did, but they did not want to release it or record it.
that was him being sarcastic.
That was the whole band.
Oh that's sad that they can only be that gets that they're British. I don't know it's I get that like I hear he's got that sort of like kind of sarcastic like Pink Floyd kind of sarcastic vibe but yeah I never picked that up from that song. I'm not gonna say I felt it as earnest but
Radiohead, right?
like I mean irony and sarcasm was kind of like the currency of the 90s in the first place, you know.
Oh yeah, especially from the British.
Yeah,
It's a great track though, really. Like
yeah,
it was a
and-
great song, but that was him not wanting, like, trying to make it a horrible song.
well what I always got a kick out
I
of
gave it like a tense vibe almost though, in a way. Right?
and
But
kind
the
of
whole band is on that same front. That'd be
Same frequency. Shit.
never heard that before. That's
Like-
interesting.
like the big thing I always found really surprising about Radiohead, especially their early albums, is when they got loud in like the guitar was uncomfortable when it came in on certain songs. Like it would be like, okay, we're heading this direction. When the guitar came in, it was just punching you in the head.
Like force.
Yeah, like a little too much almost.
So you're
When I
talking
remember,
Blur?
like this is going back to like the early 90s listening to it, but it's like compared to other stuff, it didn't seem as balanced. But I don't get balanced from the singer. He seems like one of those Zen guys who's really Zen because he's not that balanced, if that makes any sense. He had to work toward his Zen, and therefore he just comes across as more Zen.
I think that's the beauty of music, though. Each one of us
Yeah.
has a different way to deliver it, right?
Yeah, and where it comes from.
Yeah, and where it comes from, what foundation of that was for you.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So all that is intertwined into the experience of how you think, what has
Yeah.
happened to you traumatically, and boom, there it is. It's in your music,
How has life influenced you
Yeah.
to write like that?
Yeah.
right? And you get that. That's why some things are just like, whoa, that is so different, and that's really what it is. Their life is so different.
Well, now here's a question actually here then. Is where's your take on character singers?
Like singing about something that they don't really do.
Well, where they're creating a character.
Okay, no,
Or-
what do you mean? Are you
or-
talking like
Yeah.
War, Green Jello?
Nine Inch Nails isn't necessarily him, you know, and I think I've heard this said on certain like levels is when you're an artist, you know, being able to separate yourself from the character you're writing about so that you can say these things that are actually more meaningful or stuff that you're thinking of instead of stuff that you're actually living in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm kind of curious, like, what's your take on that? Or does it have to be
That was kind of what I was explaining. Like, the way they live, it's the person, it's what they've gone through, their look, perspective, their experience, something traumatic, love, if ever at all love.
Yeah.
Right? These are all just little elements, and they're all just balled up into, okay, what forces you, what pushed you, what exposed you. Bang, here comes your music.
Yeah.
And all those elements are
See,
in.
that's funny.
And even though if they're separate, like, I would say, like,
from what I think.
What's that?
I can write not connected to a certain song because I can write as somebody else's perspective.
Yeah, I say like should be freedom of speech to write about whatever you want to write about in a sense.
Author writing a
But
book.
I say, like in my music anyway, I try to keep it like the most real that I can because I feel like that's just what it is. You know what I mean? And like you can't say it's not real.
Yeah,
That's
like
as long as I know what I wrote is what I've experienced, then I am fine with what I'm saying. But I'm not out there saying, you know what I mean? I'm not out there trying to create a falsified perspective.
Well,
like I might amplify something that I've done, but not in a way to misogynize or mislead.
Well, I've written stuff where it to means one thing, but to somebody else, they get a totally different meaning just because of the way it's worded.
Yeah, like
your experience still allowed you to do that.
Like, yeah,
somewhat.
Yeah.
No, and I hear that because, like, I'm thinking like Bruce Springsteen or Tom Waits, where it's like definitely they're not writing about themselves, but you get the feel like they're writing from somebody that they had a pretty good conversation with in a bar at some point.
Maybe
and they found that as an inspiring.
Maybe they're
sort of
writing
thing.
about who they really want to be. You know, they're like,
and that's a thing too. You know, and I think that's totally a thing too. And it's yeah, it's kind of funny, but
it's like goal reaching bars.
But yeah, it's interesting. Like there, and I know this from my own kind of like working on music is living in that. Okay, I need to be authentic to my own experience, and I've lived in that. And I've also, I don't know whether I've done well at trying to, as an experiment, go, okay, I'm gonna write about a sci-fi character, or some character that maybe doesn't exist. You know, the serial killer that doesn't exist or whatever.
That's when it gets into storytelling.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
like it still comes from an experience, but at the same time, it's like the necessity for you to validate with that within your own kind of experience becomes slightly different.
Tell me, when you've written something close to your understanding, perspective, and experience, what happened later on down the year?
Yeah.
Did you experience anything during that song in real life?
I've had
like after, not before, after.
You think you're like writing your own life?
Oh, you are.
No, and I get that, and I get that too. And I've had songs where I've tried to write shit that's really kind of personal, and I can honestly say those are the things that very often I don't release. Or it takes
almost
me
like painfully honest. That's kind of how I feel with some of the tracks on my album. It's like but I mean, it's like almost kind of like beautiful in a way too.
Yeah, like to a degree, I think with myself, I'm not always.
Oh yeah,
that I wrote.
Episode or issue 5 and 4. Yeah, he wrote some interesting pieces for.
Something similar to what you said in the song later in life.
I was thinking like music. You can talk about a lot of things, right? But I was thinking maybe music, to me anyway, it might be like me not knowing about it and trying to work my way through it in my own way. You know what I mean? Like, so that's like a completely different perspective.
Okay.
So I'm
a lot of people write like that. They take an incident or something that's close to them, but don't fully understand and try and work it out that way.
Mm-hmm.
Or they can't put it into words on what they're feeling or thinking about a certain situation, but come up with a song.
Yeah, but I'm saying everybody is unique in their own right as well.
Oh,
Like,
hell
you know
yeah.
what I mean? Just in the way that they write.
Facts. Yeah.
That's very true. Hard facts.
But yeah, it's definitely a style of writing as well.
That's why when I started playing, I always played with as many different musicians, different styles of music, different personalities to try and grow what I was doing. Like, you notice, like you, I have a guitar sitting here, I have a bass sitting down in the basement. And every time I'm here, I usually write something.
Yeah, something. Get something jamming. Don't mind me. I'm just playing a little bit of that mini golf here. I feel like I've been talking all day, so I'm giving other people the opportunity to do so.
Yeah, I want to say thanks again to Sahil and John. They were great earlier.
John from Dustwalker to heal the
Likewise.
Demon
Stealer.
Stealer. I almost called him Demon
Yes.
Slayer again. Demon Slayer just rolls. I guess someone had that. That was so good. But yeah, man, it was a good conversation. Definitely interesting to learn a couple of the drumming techniques from. You know what I mean? And then
All day.
I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna
It was fun to watch your face when I said you should watch one of his shitty drumming videos, he calls them.
terrible drumming videos.
So, do you think you like somebody, going back to that writing thing, do you think you like somebody more because they're talking about something real? Or do you think you like it because they're talking about like some
Tell a story.
not hating on it,
Fictionalized.
but it's like
Far-reached. Understanding.
there's something special about the realness of it too, because it's like you can't like.
No, it's special.
But
It's
at the same time, it's a whole different like
it's
level of coolness up here as well. Like
it's very special. I put it like what I think kind of nails for me at home is Wesley Willis.
not familiar.
Yeah, he's we're going back to kind of 90s 2000. He was living in Toronto, black autistic songwriter who kind of really autistic, like Rock and Roll McDonald's is one of his songs. And they're
You
all
showed me this guy.
yeah no, and they're all getting back to stuff that's kind of bad, like he can't sing rock and roll.
Outsider music.
Yeah, like I hate Alanis Morissette. I hate Alanis Morissette. This is what his songs
Yeah,
are.
just
It's
repeatable
so
like
good,
that.
though.
Yeah.
Genuinely
Well, no, not even
really-
repeatable. Like when he goes into a verse, he just tells his story kind of like in this really awkward way, but because he's so fucking authentic,
Mm-hmm. Right.
like he's just being him on stage, and like like stories with the guy, I guess, like to greet audience members, he used to walk up to them and like headbutt them. And if you see pictures, he's got this big dot in the middle of his head because he used to just slam his head into people in order
That
to
would
greet
hurt
them.
after a while.
Wow.
Yeah,
Imagine
no,
how
look.
you just keep hitting a goosebump on the top of it.
yeah,
It would
no,
just-
and totally, it was just there, but he didn't give a fuck or something.
And the other people didn't give a fuck either.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Give a fuck
Wow.
or something.
Hello, I guess.
Yeah, he's like one of those weird little Toronto icons, but his music isn't good, but it's just it's really authentic.
So, okay, is it the promotion, the marketing, or the fact that he just goes balls to the wall by the sounds of it?
I don't
Well, it's
even
just
know.
him.
I
It's
don't-
just him.
Does
Balls
he
to
have
walls,
any
yeah.
much
Just does
at all
not care to
promotion or
not
marketing?
worry about
He-
what
he's-
they're gonna say.
He's kind of like Ween or Godspeed You
Underground.
Black. Yeah, like so underground that
Cult classic.
yeah, like but
people who know about it.
but like certain songs, like I've shown, like when I'm at work, I we're talking about a couple bands like Kids from Whitney High or Wesley Willis, and I showed them a couple songs, and they just instantly picked up on them because they were great little songs,
Yeah.
and they could kind of sing along, and they were funny and kind of, you know, that sort of thing.
They're enjoyable.
And they really are.
Genuinely enjoyable.
But the performance is horrible. That being said, the authenticity makes up for kind of the, like, I think if you're going to tell a good story, you can tell a good story. Diane Ward, perfect example. There's nothing authentic about that band, but man, do they tell a good story. You know, their whole image, their whole everything about them is so well put together in this fucked up sci-fi sort of way that
delivery is just good.
Yeah, like two sides of the same, or
You can tell a
two
good
sides.
story. You can tell a good story.
Yeah,
At the end of the day.
like they can kind of get away with being completely inauthentic, but
then, like, listen to this. He just told something.
Yeah,
It hits them with a different style. Though, right?
yeah.
Authenticity is something that's just it just kind of draws you in some of its own kind of realm.
Yeah, like it's kind of funny because it's
Its own energy.
like
Yeah,
there's
fun
always
energy.
there's always a balance, but
Yeah.
it's I think like pure authenticity has its, like there's probably I've been watching what do you call them, road trip videos for the past day, maybe 2 days. They're really long, so I don't know. They're like 10-12 hour videos of just somebody driving from like Washington DC to California at like double speed or 4 times speed, and you just
Clip it,
and you just put it on your computer and you're just like watching somebody drive, and
Like
that's pure authenticity. There is no editing. There's nothing there's nothing that is purposely interesting about this, you know, except that I've been on long road trips and that was really fun.
It feels
and
like kind of sitting in a car, but not.
yeah, it's like weird comfort food.
Okay.
your own way of time travel, really.
Yeah, and I think to a degree authenticity kind of is nice like that. Like when you hear something that's that authentic and maybe even bad authentic, you get to see your friends.
Yeah.
You know, not your friends who are talented, but your friends who aren't that talented. And that's life. And you can feel that. It feels, it's comfort food. You know, it's not like high class cuisine of the perfect song served up for you. It's your buddy down the street that just you've been listening to forever, and he's not that good, but he loves it, and you love him, and you know, it's just kind of that deal, you know.
Yeah, there's just something. It feels like here. That's all I can say about it. It's just like it feels like it hits you in the heart.
Yeah, like I have hit more points of honesty on more authentic music. I have hit higher, more interesting concepts, sometimes worked out through more storytelling music.
I'm hurting right now. I didn't realize until I saw myself yawning in the screen. It's just like, yo, we've been at this since about 10:30. Woo. You know what I mean? 11. We officially went on air around 11:30. We had Demon Stealer on here.
What was going to be for an hour and a half conversation turned into 2.5 hours.
2.5 hour conversation, and it was an enlightening conversation. Not gonna lie. Then we had LGs Cooking.
You can do that
after a 2 hour break, but them sliders was good though. That food was proper.
Delicious.
It was soulicious because we added some soulicious pepper sauce and some rub to it as well. I'm just hearing back from him right now, actually. Okay, so he's gonna be in town tomorrow.
I'll give you the money tonight, man.
Okay.
I want one of each.
Yeah,
that shit is so good. It's my new Frank's hot sauce.
Oh man, yep.
I'll put that shit on everything.
I was gonna mention that. Yes.
Yeah.
What's up?
He's not like.
He's not
he keeps it in. He does have real experiences. Like I feel like because he does rap about some stuff to him, but at the same time, it's like so like on a storytelling level.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Like,
but that's what makes it great is because it's almost like he's just throwing out great. Like and it's just like bubbly kind of like.
Well,
what I
rhymes,
like
you know what I mean?
about that is yes, all of those, but then he has this
Yeah, yeah.
mask, and now it detaches me from.
But
He's a
that's part of
super
it. But
villain.
that's
Right,
part of
he's a
it.
super
But that's
villain. So
part-
now it like,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
ooh, what did the person behind the mask go through to tell this?
Metal fingers.
So right, I'm a detached and attached. You get what
no,
I'm saying, right?
No,
Like,
but what did Stan Lee have to go through to tell his stories? Did he actually have to go through it, or was he living in a generation with mass media where he could to a degree, take in those stories?
I don't know, man. With the detail
You
he
know what
told,
I mean?
with the detail he told his stories, he would have had to have some experience in the situation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
That's
X-Men
what
is
made
no.
me look at him that way, like he was,
Or friends,
yeah,
or
he was,
Mhm.
I mean, it becomes tricky at that point, and I don't think it's worth judging the character by
I looked at it in a
what his
great way. I thought, how cool.
authenticity is. It's like he's tells
How
a good
cool.
story.
He always had
That's true.
a stage presence of mystery.
Yeah,
mysterious.
Mhm.
No matter what he was saying, you were caught in that web. You're like, what?
Yeah,
Yeah, you're just caught.
yeah,
You're like, huh? Whoa. Let me take that in again. And then he gives you something totally different, and you're just like, what?
yeah. Like, and I don't think you can diss either style. Like, I think each is like kind of its own wonderful little thing. Sitting in the middle is even interesting. Sitting in the middle, it's kind of avoiding cringe, I think, is where it gets tricky. You know, when you're sitting in the middle of telling a story and trying for it not to seem too obvious, but you're still trying to sell something that's really important to you, but you don't want it to sound cringy. You know?
You're tithering.
Yeah, like that's I think.
Yeah.
And I can't think of too many artists that really Aqua maybe.
Oh man.
That can sit in that
Yeah, they definitely got that.
Oh my gosh, Aqua
and I
was.
can't think of too many other artists that sit in the
No
realm
man,
of,
with
like,
Aqua, there was like 4 bands with Aqua around the same time Aqua came out that were basically like Aqua but different variations of trash.
Yeah. But
they created an era.
but to be that sarcastic and like that, trying, like, you can hear their message in Barbie Girl. Barbie Girl has a straight up message, and
totally thought I was thinking of the same
and they're
band,
talking about something, but the song is presented in this super pop song that is. And I think what it is they played it safe and stayed closer to the authenticity, you know.
Yeah.
Barbie Girl was super anti everything.
No, and it really was. I think it's an amazing. It's part of the reason that I can actually listen to a lot of like Japanese pop now, is because it has that same sort of like pop vibe to it. But if you really work it out lyrically, they're talking about shit. Some of the kids write that shit. If you get the translations, they are punk as fuck. You know, they are pissed.
Shit.
Yeah, but it's just their presentation is this super poppy shit. You
Very
know,
spunky delivery.
Yeah.
Go listen to some baby metal. It's great.
Absolute.
Oh, Vocaloid is just like fucking disturbing.
Dude, I can rock one Vocaloid, man.
Yeah, Vocaloid is like basically it's like J-pop, except everything they're talking about is suicide. Like it's like Japanese emo, but like it's so happy sounding.
No.
Yeah, no, it is
it's
so absolute
insane.
until you get the translation and
Yeah.
you're like, oh,
They're talking about a lot of shit.
you need therapy. Like really, it's like Gabe showed me some stuff that I'm just like, some of it I really love the shit out of. It's super poppy. Sometimes it's kind of heavy, but in a different sort of way. But then you like look at the lyrics and you're just like, oh, you're so sad.
Dude, like
Oh my
Vocaloid has
God.
always been kind of like
It's so
passion of mine. One that I didn't share a lot for a long time because I thought it was like embarrassing for some reason.
fair.
But then like I just realized no, this music is good.
It's hard to translate because it's definitely not a North American palette.
feel like
That kind of
drill
goes
that,
back
get
to
some
like
spray
setting
foam
free
and
like
just-
emotion that's mainly authentic, like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like just straight real, you know, like
Well, what I kind of see, it's kind of like, you know, kids who grew up on video game music.
That heavy
Oh, man.
electronical
Yeah.
sound just
Yeah.
really appeals.
But they
to me.
grew up on video games, and that's all they know, and they're really lonely because all they do is play video games, and they want to kill themselves because all they do is play video games, and
It'd be like that sometimes.
so
okay?
it's like the lyrics are kind of like, oh, stop playing video games.
But like, I don't know.
not
There's a lot of good stuff out there.
No, there really is. There really is. Like, and it's exactly. It's like even when people take pop forms and try to like, and that's always done. I think some of the best songs in some of the most memorable songs ever are songs that kind of sit in this. They're a pop medium. They're catchy as fuck, and they are pop songs. But you can relate, you know. Barbie girl, perfect example. I don't think there was anybody of any gender that listened to Barbie girl and was able to not go, okay, I don't get what this is about. You'd have to be really kind of dense to kind of like just not get the fact that there's some serious sarcasm going on in this song, you know.
Yeah, to emphasize it would be another thing, but
yeah, it's I started a joke by the Gibb brother. It's weird. They call it was one of the Bee Gees, the guys who used to write for the Bee Gees. They have this song called "I Started a Joke." That one's cringy because you don't know what they're talking about, and if you try to figure it out, it starts to get creepy.
Night Fever.
Yeah, like he's like I started a joke and it started the whole world laughing. But they couldn't see that the joke was on me, and it's like kind of keeps going in that realm, and it's like he seems like he's pissed off about something,
but you're enough to say.
Yeah,
So
and it's just
leading you somewhere else.
Yeah, and it sounds cringy. Yeah, it's just kind of like, are you gonna stab somebody or
say it, bro?
Just let us
know.
Like, yeah, like you can open up, man. Like you don't have to be creepy about it.
Just tell us.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's great. That is great.
Woo.
Good
You gotta lead
conversation.
them on somewhat. You can't hit them right away. But
Making my job easy tonight, guys.
So much easier, you know what I mean?
I just might head downstairs and start doing some recording while you guys chat.
Like, I don't feel like I have to moderate. We could just we could even bring this camera down here and just.
For some reason, I was thinking about Bobby Brown.
Oh man,
have you ever listened to Bobby Brown, man?
He's crazy.
He's really cringy. Like,
cocaine's a wonderful drug.
I don't know.
Yeah,
there's a lot of controversy between how people got involved with it, though. Like who?
And he's really good until you listen to his lyrics.
Like Chris Brown.
Yeah, and you listen to his lyrics, and he'll be like, "Hey, I love you," and you shouldn't listen to your you shouldn't listen to your like you really shouldn't listen to your friend's opinion of me and stuff like that.
Oh, throw that out.
No, exactly. And it's just like
don't worry about that song.
But he's so good, man.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
like best songs ever. But man, you listen to the lyrics and you're just like and that's where I
like that one song for some reason why.
Listen to any Kiss song.
Oh.
You want cringy lyrics? Listen to.
I don't like
anything
it. That's the reason why I don't like that. Yeah,
it's hard.
I agree with that.
Take a ride to my love gun. It's you, love you. That girl is bright. You're dying.
But then again, like it.
See, and that's
stop music. Are you
and that's where I think wrong.
It's
just like.
Remember, I'm the guy that thinks that Iron Maiden soft rock. Remember?
You're just
Oh, yeah.
justifying really bad
Yeah,
guys,
that's
like
true.
really bad dudes in clubs. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Hey, baby, how's it going?
Oh, man.
I can't get you out of my mind.
What? I can get you what?
I can't get you out of my mind.
Spitting game
Oh, man.
to the mic.
You're stuck. I need you out.
I can't get you
But
there.
then
They
you
may
had
have to put me in the
who
hospital
was it Lionel
because,
Richie?
because I
Get out of
can't
my
do it.
dreams
All I
and get
can
into my
think
car.
about is your mother.
Look at him like, are you tired? You running around?
You're running
so.
around in my head. You've been running around in
You
it for like
tired today?
15 days right now.
You'll be tired next week.
Okay, we're talking about songs like along those lines, right? Was it Lionel Richie? Dave, you might know this. Or L, you might know this too. Get out of my dreams, get into my car.
Yes. Oh my God.
Oh,
That's so weird.
no, but that is so smarmy.
It's how he said it too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a
get
degree of
out of
smarmy
my-
to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, creepy.
Get
But
out of my
smarmy.
dream.
Like we're talking like the late
Yeah.
80s, early 90s with like the Leisure Suit
What
Larry.
TV series
you
was
know.
that off of? Oh my
No,
God.
get it.
Because that's how I noticed it. I didn't notice that it was from Lionel until I watched the TV series.
Is that Lionel?
I think
No,
so.
that is not
I'm not
Lionel.
100%. I said it might be.
No, it's not Lionel. Lionel's got Lionel is
Had a little more
man.
class.
Lionel is a very beautiful man. Like Lionel would not write something that.
You
Yeah.
saying I besmirched Lionel's name by
Yeah,
even
don't
saying
be
that.
because like Lionel will write lady. You know what I mean?
Hello.
Or hello, or you know.
Is it me you're looking
Yeah,
for?
like Lionel does not write crap like that. Do not
Oh, man.
besmirch Lionel Richie.
You let this guy come
Billy
in and do that
Ocean.
to you?
Billy Ocean, okay,
Besmirched.
okay.
Don't you dare.
Billy
How
Ocean.
dare you besmirch?
He also did Caribbean Queen.
Yes, okay,
Who the
okay.
fuck did they
Give me
get
some
my
lovin'?
dreams into
Oh,
my
that was
car?
Spencer, sorry.
Yeah, he definitely.
Yeah,
sounds
yeah,
like
I've
actually,
seen it. It was
yeah,
a
no.
movie I watched when I learned that song. I didn't know who actually
If that's
sang
Lionel
it.
Richie, I'm gonna have such
No.
total.
Now that I look
You-
back
wait,
at
you
it,
I'm
hate-
gonna
no way.
cry
You
right
hate
now.
Kiss.
Yo,
Alright.
Block, he owes you a case
Eh?
or something?
Huh?
What
You
up?
hate
Oh, I don't like Kiss.
Kiss.
Yeah,
Thank
I'm not a big fan of Kiss.
Thank
am
you.
not
I
a big
agree
fan
with
of
that.
Kiss.
Virtual high five.
Yeah.
about
Virtual
you?
high five.
Kiss is one of those proto Reagan
That's like
bands.
that is some
Voice.
cringy shit. He was right. He said
Yeah.
it. It's just like some.
Who is that?
Nah, that ain't right.
You know what?
Billy
That ain't
Ocean.
the way to do
Billy
it.
Ocean.
Really?
Billy
Yeah.
Ocean.
Yeah. Billy
You
Ocean.
said
No,
2
that
minutes
yeah,
ago.
no, and Billy Ocean's got some great shit
Yeah.
too, man.
They also had
Yeah.
some dope shit. Like I
Yeah.
can remember all of those songs that Jay just
Caribbean
listed.
Queen.
But definitely that's
Caribbean
more of a
Queen? What
Billy
do you
Ocean
mean?
song.
You're welcome.
Caribbean
Get out of my dreams and
Queen.
into my
Thank
car
you,
is
yeah.
something I can
Shit.
way
It was
see
a
like
crossover from
Billy
Disney
Ocean
to
saying before like
80s.
Lionel Richie.
He
Lionel Richie
sang
would
a
be
lot
like,
about
yeah.
his dreams,
so
though.
offended.
Now that
Well,
I
because
think
Lionel
about it.
Richie's like,
Don't be smirched.
yeah,
Besmirch.
like Lionel
name.
Richie's like
He was
one of my
always-
original
he was
shit.
a
too
legend.
man.
calm, you know what I mean?
All of my favorite
Lionel
original
Richie's like one of the
songs are
initial
probably Lionel
original
Richie
heavy
or
droppers.
Kenny
I know
Rogers
there's
or
probably a better way
Kenny
to say
Rogers
that
and
today.
Lionel Richie.
But-
You're looking for.
Yeah.
Real calm
I
about
can
it.
see
What do you
it
mean?
in
That was
your
a
eyes.
sensual, one of the most sensual tracks,
I
bro.
can see
Yeah,
it
it was
when
him,
you're
Billy
smiling.
Idol,
Yep.
Rod Stewart.
You're all I've ever wanted.
Mike
Cringe moment.
Rod Stewart,
Just
fucking
showed up.
Michael Bolton. Michael Bolton.
Those were the big four back in the 80s.
Yeah, and then you have
No, but
They
you know
just
what?
go too far.
Yeah, you know what? I
It's
think
funny
you can,
how that identifies as cringe. Like you've not known real love in your life. You're all I ever wanted. Oh my God! What did he say?
Yeah, but you know what?
Kenny G.
But I
just
trust
went
that
on.
from Lionel. You know,
No.
like
Fucking,
Lionel
he
don't
was
seem
like
like
Michael
he's like
Bolton,
fronted.
but-
You know, he's just like
He
Just him.
if he says you're all I've
We're
ever
talking
wanted, I believe
nowadays?
that from
No,
Lionel,
from
man.
back in
That's
that
all I'm
same
saying.
time.
From Bobby
Rick James?
Brown.
No, man. He was,
They're
No,
ignoring
Bobby
us in
Brown's
there,
just
so they
like,
can't hear what we're
don't
talking
listen
about.
to your friends.
That's
about
cool.
me. I'm
we'll
just
have our own
like,
conversation.
So you
That's
can
too
make
much.
your
In
friends
between
is what you're
theirs.
saying.
But,
Yeah.
Don't listen to someone who tells you not to listen to your friends
Yeah, I
about
know.
sketch.
Yeah, kind of sketch.
Check,
definitely.
please. Check, please.
Oh my God.
Man, this is gonna bother the fuck out of me because it's like he was up there with those guys.
No, I
do have those friends.
Definitely. I mean, you. But
Not
if
Frank
if
Sinatra.
you're
They're coming to you
No.
with drama.
Tony
and it doesn't
Bennett?
essentially
no,
help
and
you.
and
We're
It
talking
doesn't
like-
essentially help you.
No,
So
and I
if you
get
hear
that.
someone
His
spout
name.
No, he's a
something,
white
you're
guy.
like, oh, yeah, that's my friend. They told me. What did they tell you?
Yeah.
They told you a bunch of bullshit.
My
And
grandmother
if you never told, if
grave.
you were never told about that
man.
bullshit, guess what? Time would have
Man,
went on.
it's like
You know what we
No,
need
but
to
you know
listen
what
to,
Would've had
guys?
less
But
bullshit
like,
to worry
if
about.
it's
No,
like
no, but you know what?
Guys.
behavior
No,
that
but you
your
know what?
friends are
If
saying-
right
we're
off
having
the
the
bat,
combo.
you're having to tell somebody, don't listen to my friends or don't listen to your friends about me, that's doing damage control before the damage is even done. You know, if the damage isn't be done and then you're having to do damage control, it's a little more believable than
But if you're saying
coming
it,
out
like,
and saying
right off
like,
the bat,
okay, I'm controlling the damage before like it even happens.
But it already happened.
Red
which is
flag.
Why they're saying that.
yeah,
No,
exactly.
you
It
gotta wait.
already happened because he's saying don't listen to
No,
them.
no,
Therefore,
but
something was already
if
said.
your friends know
yeah,
things
Something was
about
already
him,
said.
No, what I'm no, and I get that. But if
Sounds
you're
like
like,
I'm
say
protecting that. I'm not.
say you're like, you know, coming into this situation and somebody starts saying something that a friend said, and you're kind of like, no, that didn't happen or whatever. That's one thing. You know, coming into the situation right off the bat and kind of being like,
that's the
hey,
beginning
man,
of the conversation.
I know we have friends together and you can't listen to what those guys say.
Agenda.
Red flag.
yeah, that's when it's a red flag.
Yeah.
Flag on the play.
And that's where I think it sits with him.
If you're
It's that
coming right
he's
off the gates.
yeah, he's
with
right
that.
off the gates with like, hey, you know, people are probably telling you that I'm not that great. It's just
red
bad at.
flag.
Well, I mean, in the '80s, it would have been probably better
Gotta figure-
because he's
like,
bad.
Before it started playing.
Like he's still playing today, but it was like he was really big in the late
Oh my God,
80s, early
yeah, sorry, I'm
90s.
just like,
Oh man,
I
fucking.
don't know.
It's
Like
There's
I always
certain- there's
confuse him with
certain
Rod
things that are
Stewart.
just like
though.
that's what I mean.
Either
right?
Rod Stewart or
Because,
Michael Bolton.
if-
I'd
if-
always get the three of them.
No, and I
confused.
hear you, but yeah, I think it's doing the damage control after. You got to wait for that to happen. You know, if you kind of come off like right off the gate with it,
It depends.
then chances are the shit that
It
you've
sucks
done.
because that weighs
It's
out
like-
them either
Like,
never having a
you've been
defense
like,
towards what you've heard.
No, and the thing is like ignore.
Right?
No, but
How
ignoring
do
it
you let that?
you
easy because
gotta let
because
that
ignore
person
because
make their decision
because
about
be-
you if they want to date you or not,
well, not only
based on like all information. It's like denying, like telling them
But
don't
that's
listen
just
to those
hearing
people.
something. That's just
no,
hearing something.
and I
But-
get
You are never there to witness who
No,
they
no.
are, so you heard something. And it doesn't really mean that you were specifically there to see the angle of the actual
yeah, but
reality of it. So you just heard something.
no,
Doesn't
and
mean it's true.
and that's trying to create a reality. But I think what it's like, okay, like taking from somebody who's not even necessarily in that reality. I think, to come off right off the bat, chances are you already know you did something wrong. You know what I
If you're
mean? Like,
starting
it-
with
like,
that,
or-
you
or-
know
or-
you've done something
e-
wrong,
either
and you're trying to just
Protect it,
ignore
defend
that.
it.
But
Either
then
that
you
or you
have the
gotta-
people who go and talk about other people who haven't done wrong in order to make it look like they're doing wrong
Well,
because
that
they know
is
they're
a-
in the
that
wrong.
is a true
That's
thing.
that's
Yeah,
the
you're
part
talking about
where
recent
I'm
experiences?
trying to get at.
Of course,
I
I'm
was
always
hoping
talking
one
about
of
what
you
I
would
get
get
to.
there.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
no,
but
I
just
was hoping
when
one
he
of you
said
would
that,
get there.
no,
I think it,
That's what I was saying.
It's like
you
there
heard
are
something.
You need to lower the voice
there,
a bit. It's
so how
getting
do you
muddy.
know it's true.
no,
Right.
but that's what I think it comes down to is
but at that point they wouldn't be my friends.
no.
That's where I started. You don't know what you're hearing. So they're just
Yeah.
telling you bullshit.
No, and no,
Right?
and that's fair. But I think what it comes down to is I think the majority of people don't really give a shit. Like
That is true. That
and
is
I
fact.
think some people may take like some offense to it and try to create some sort of thing about it. Most people don't care, and yeah, you can respond to things, but coming right off the bat is kind of a bad selling move.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think if somebody says something about you or whatever, there's points where you need to respond, and there's other points where it's just like, you know what? Let that fester. You know, the people that know me,
know me.
are gonna eventually put that fire out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like the people
I feel you
that
there.
Yeah.
actually
But
know
in general, let's say someone is just, regardless of what day, week, month, right? You're just tired of it. And you come out the gate with defending yourself, and instantly, all of us are going to think, whoa, maybe
Cringe.
he is.
No, but that's a cringe moment.
Right?
Like, I'm not, I like it, and not a judge
Like,
against the
I
guy,
think it's more
but
like
to say that it's cringe, you know, in the sense that, like, oh, you're like, what was the phrase we used to use? It's like putting your foot in your mouth.
Yep.
You know, swallowing the shoe. You know,
I guess it's more
sucking your own dick.
if you say it before
It's
the
just
person
farther
ever,
down the lane.
That
that's all I'm
escalated.
saying.
if you say it before
No more analogies of that.
That escalated. That was like,
What do you say?
okay.
if you say it before the person ever like brings it up or even hints at it,
You're
then like false information. If you're just saying it like right out the gate, I would feel a little
Okay.
suspicious of
So
that.
that's pretty much the premise of my understanding was the only way you're getting information is by someone telling you something ahead of what this person now has to defend.
yeah, but this guy ahead of
Right?
time is coming out and going like, hey,
Right, but you're not realizing.
you
you're
don't
not
even
realizing-
you don't even know
Hold
the
on, hold on, one at a
information
time.
yet.
You're not
You don't
realizing.
even
You
know
need
the
to slow
information
down.
yet,
You're not
and he's coming out
realizing
and be
why
like,
you're
have
even
you
being
heard the
told
information
story
about
to
me?
begin with.
I'm
You're
raising
not
my
even
hand to you.
realizing. You're not even realizing.
Give
King
us,
of
let
the
LG
stream.
finish what he's saying.
But I'm just saying, like, he's coming out and going like, hey, like, here's my street cred is that your girlfriends are talking shit about me isn't enough street cred for it not to be cringe.
Okay, I have one question.
I think it's more like the levels of what they're saying. Like if they're saying some heinous shit has gone down with this guy,
Yeah, like
I would instantly be like, yeah, red.
I still
like,
have
yeah,
one
like
question.
you don't want to. Don't listen to my friends. I
Yeah.
didn't shoot that cop. Versus don't listen
What
to your,
extreme?
versus don't listen to your girlfriends about whatever. Not talking about it.
Definitely.
Or there's one that's kind of like I don't know if it's street cred or just like fucking Grand Theft Auto
Just saying,
street
like,
cred.
on a
Like, you know?
On a general,
It's like-
hold on a general
Yeah.
basis,
Or something
you
almost.
hear information all the time. So when you hear something that critical, you have to ask yourself, why am I hearing this?
Mhm.
Why is this important?
Yep.
None of those things ever genuinely come over across your brain when information is being told to you. But when someone stands up to defend themselves, instantly there's a defense in your brain.
Yep.
Why?
It's
And that's what the person telling you bullshit creates.
I think that's fair.
I totally think so. That's what happens. Because now I can't defend myself because I'm cringy. You started off the conversation with defending yourself. That's not cool.
No, and I think
You're a
that's
5-star cringe, bro. Like,
I think that's fair.
Just
Say like
3,
2.5.
And I think that's fair. I think
I'm
that's
just
fair.
saying, think
that's how
about
you
the
present
information
yourself.
you're getting.
You know,
And instantly, because we've all learned auditorially,
yeah,
information's true because I heard something.
That's why
That's what I
hearsay is
dislike about
inadmissible in
everything
court.
that you hear.
I usually like to wait till it's written in print, but like that's true.
It can't be in print because the guy can't defend himself.
Well, no, most shit is
Or
bullshit
whoever
though.
the individual is.
But most shit is bullshit. I think most of us kind of have it. Like even the most gossipy. What would add on to that?
You accepted the gossip.
Yeah, but for like
That's the part I'm trying to
Yeah,
get you to
and-
realize. You accepted the gossip. So how come all of a sudden this is cringe when you don't know if this is true?
because you're accepting the gossip to that degree. Like
It doesn't have validity unless you accept it. And once you accept
Yeah.
it, it alters the way you think about
Thank
whatever
you. And
whatever
naturally.
it is. It's like
Something about cringe.
yeah, but I mean,
I
like,
have a general rule, which is depending on the level of offense that someone like does again to me, I will give like 0 to 5 chances before like I kind of back off.
Sorry, I
from the
just got the
friendship a
urge
little
for
bit
some
and
reason.
reassess it,
Hey.
or relationship, or
I'm just
whatever.
saying, what started the whole thing
Zach,
was you
do me a
received
favor,
that
buddy.
information. And if you took it as value,
Zach?
that's what fucked it up.
No,
He's looking
It's
at
not what
Can you grab
you
your
still
acoustic
don't
and
know
come on
if
in
this
here?
person did it. It's now just a story.
yeah,
You're not there to actually perceive it.
Yeah, and-
So you
and-
just
and-
picked up a virus.
no, and
You're
I
probably gonna go share it with others.
and
I
maybe
mean,
and
it's
maybe we
more
might be
like-
getting this from like two different like because like I was one of these guys like okay high school for not even high school when I moved out of Toronto out to Toronto I was already one of these people in high school that if somebody started
Yo,
spreading
Zach.
a rumor about
Yeah.
me
You want to grab your acoustic and come down
I'd
the hall?
add to it.
We got another
You
camera
know,
set
just
up here.
let's see how bad we can make this rumor. You know, because I knew if you just made it absurd enough, like most people aren't going to believe it in the first place.
True.
And even I moved out to Toronto, and I remember coming back and hearing how like crazy the rumors got, and they were really funny to me because they were absolutely absurd. But it's like what people were stewing on in the absence of me in the first place.
That definitely triggered something to analyze that better because
Is that the
a
white?
lot of things theoretically is how
Yeah, bro.
my
Is that the one we went
experience of
for?
seeing other people
Oh,
learn
yeah,
this
that.
country.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a
It just,
beauty.
you get told something.
Yeah.
You saw it on TV. It just becomes real. No one really
How
does
do you
the
learn in this
no one
country
does the
or any
groundwork
country?
investigation to know if it is. It's just, oh, I was told that blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah.
I
It's real. And it's like, really?
Yeah, but like this is my take on the flat Earth Society. It's probably not real.
I want to share something really embarrassing.
You know, very probably not real. There's a very tiny minuscule chance that it might be real.
So,
It's probably not.
so until I was about somewhere between 10 and 12 years old, I don't know if you've ever seen the House Hippo commercials that were on like Canadian broadcasting for.
No.
Okay, so they
Can't say.
they edit a hippo really tiny and do like things around the house, like eat peanut butter on toast and like make nests in the closet.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
The other side.
I saw that as a very small child. I believed house hippos were a real thing until it was probably somewhere between 10 and 12 years old.
The teal one?
And then I was like,
Do you see what I'm saying?
wait a minute, there's a thing that says, I don't believe it because it's not
A
real.
water bottle?
At the
Yeah.
end of that thing, and I
I'll
never
get it, because you're behind that.
You didn't
autism.
read
Oh,
what
okay.
it was
Well,
telling
get him
you.
a movie
So
to
that
it.
is, like, I'm autistic. I was taking in the visuals of like,
As
oh,
real.
is
Okay.
there a thing? I was not I was thinking about them while that part of the commercial was running.
Yes.
Because I was so engrossed in like, oh, that's amazing.
All right, so I'll get you on camera right here.
That's my
We got
and ADHD as well.
We
So
got
my mind just goes.
Zach
If
Burry
I
here.
find something interesting,
Just
my
gonna
mind
fix
just
that
like takes
camera.
off in that direction,
Yeah.
and I can't think about anything else. School was really hard.
Okay.
You know, I was just thinking on the same vein. Okay, when I was working in Vancouver, there was this guy that in the security, all the security were all Sikh.
Got about
It was
to
weird.
pick
All
up
the
some of
housekeepers that I was working with were all
the
Sikh,
styles
you
of
know?
Zach Burry.
All of the fucking like security were all Sikh. And the one guy, I'm working the one night and I had dreads, and he looks at me and he's like, "Hey man, if you cut those, do they bleed?" And I didn't know what to make of the question. I just like very honestly said, "No, they don't," sort of thing, you know. And he was a little bit surprised. And what kind of occurred to me is he probably.
I feel like I should go get my cajon now.
Between India and Pakistan.
I'm going to get my cajon.
That
Fuck it.
little area, right? And he probably met some.
Everybody's
girls
breaking out their
with long
instruments.
dreads, you know, religious man, priest sort of
Might as well
thing, and
grab
he's probably
mine.
a kid and asked
Alright.
and the guy,
Yeah, you go down to the basement.
if I cut my hair, it
I
will
would bleed out.
Yeah,
And bleed out. What he meant by is I would
Some of the
lose
magic
knowledge.
happens.
But he didn't
Yeah.
specify
Fine,
when
actually.
you bleed out.
That's just
And because your child
I'm gonna
mind
grab
is so
this
pure,
here.
it's
We were
hard to
into,
bleed becomes
KO.
something.
block setup over
Red.
there.
You would
Yeah.
bleed out.
yeah. And
Oh,
this
Oh,
guy,
so if you cut those, man, would you bleed out?
yeah, and this guy asked me in his like 20s sort of thing, you know, and it was like he was honestly asking in this like kind of, and it was really
Be the
it was
first time
kind
busting
of-
it out.
Yeah,
beautiful about that. Like that pure essence
Not everyone
of
can
like
afford a Gretsch.
this childhood belief
You know what I
that
mean?
held on to and
Yeah.
really curious.
Well, I grew up Catholic, and I
Purists,
mean, like a
elitists.
lot of the crap I grew up with.
Yep.
I hit my 20s, and a lot of it I kind of learned. Wait a second.
Oops.
This isn't how it goes.
Man.
And
Well, I want a Gretsch, but I still
fair
like
enough
mine.
on the
It's
theories and
pleasant.
stuff, but
Name.
I find that pleasantry is a little bit aloof sometimes.
and that's what it. Yeah.
It becomes
I'm an Ibanez guy.
to me
So
in
I
a
have
way where I don't really
Ibanez
need
in
to
there. I have another one at home.
Google.
Yeah.
But I also
Find out
like,
how
you know,
to
the
ask
$200
someone.
Pons.
Don't just
special that
aloofly
has no name
throw
on
that
it.
at you and think, oh, hey, like,
I like something that's a
oh,
little
black people
funky.
dance good?
Little
There's an
unique.
aloof question with pure intentions of,
That's definitely
I feel
right? So now I'm stuck with, what do you mean?
No, but I that's weird. Like
Do you think all of us scientifically, it's good? And it just becomes
That's
a
a
real
really
odd
nice
question
sounding
now, because now I'm like, as pure-hearted as that was, really, take a look at the question again, ask yourself what that really means, and come back.
See, I would love to get a hold of one of the lawsuit era.
However, how pure that was, you're
Ibanez's?
literally just
Is that the
saying
one you were
something.
telling me about?
no,
A couple of them.
That was
I
made by
think
the.
that's worth educating.
By Ibanez, but they were
I
a
remember this one
rip-off, a
time
big
I was
name.
sitting
Oh
in
no, I
a
thought you were
restaurant
talking about the ones
I
where.
disagree when you said
Oh,
that's
Yeah,
just so
where
beautiful.
they
no, it's not.
No,
made it out of
You're
sacred
beautifully
wood.
ignorant. If
No,
anything.
no,
Oh,
and it's
that'd be the
and it's true.
Gibsons
The
that had
Gibsons.
the undocumented
and so there's this.
fretboards
Yeah.
that were made with
the-
legal
I-
wood.
I-
Yes.
I-
My son-in-law has
when I'm crashing out, and I feel this tug at my hair, and I turn to my side, and there's
Why
this
would you pull someone's where?
because I had dreads, and there was this Asian grandmother
Oh,
that was beside me that
Where's your mic?
never, and she was literally pulling my hair, and I turned over,
Up here.
and she's like,
You may
"Oh
not
my
want to
god!"
at all.
And
Go
I'm
ahead.
just like,
Loud?
I'm like,
Oh,
"It's all
loud,
good."
eh?
Like it's just like, go ahead.
Pause.
Go,
So they
no,
want me to
Pause.
talk.
Just pause your
I'm
story.
gonna
Yeah.
talk in between the drumming.
That is a
Put the
level
drum
10
down here then.
cringe.
no, it's weird.
Level 10 cringe. Put a female in his presence. With
This is
the
so
same
smooth.
dread
This is the first time I've
and
actually
someone
played this.
pulls her hair. What's the outcome of that?
I know a lot of
Yeah.
girls with dreads that probably, especially if
This one
it
was starting to
like,
chip all along the front.
Regardless,
like if it was
the outcome
I
of the
barely had it
situation
like
was-
would
6
it be
months
so
before it started.
if it was
Like
an
I had it
Asian
2 months. And
grandfather,
And I don't
shit.
hate to put the
maybe
presence on.
might-
They're nice to throw on a pillow too.
Gender, but
Hello?
A little low end, take a bit of the high end.
No,
out.
I
how
think
cool
you.
were
I,
you when your hair was pulled? But you're like, oh yeah, it's.
Yeah, remember, it's a very
no,
sensitive
and it's
instrument.
weird, but
Just
I'm
sit
proud
on
of my
top of it.
hair.
Yeah.
You know, like this
Right on
is
top
the
of it.
hair.
Were
I
they
was-
having a proud
No,
moment?
like on the bottom.
You said
No,
sit
they're
on top of
interested.
it.
Okay.
Or on top of the pillow yet.
You know,
Hey,
I mean,
listen, you
like,
gotta be
it's
specific.
something that really, like, really.
I just don't understand how friendly you can be. Like,
Oh.
No,
disregarding
somebody's
someone's-
personal
Okay,
space.
so-
Yeah.
No, and I get
right,
and
and it's
I-
just
and-
okay.
No, and I totally get that, but when it's an old Asian grandmother,
Right, she's zero threat.
okay, if she started trying to jerk me off or something, I might get a little bit weirded out. But most other things, I'm just gonna be like, okay, it's a grandmother. She's just from another time. That's not my
That's the part
itch.
I'm a little
you
bit
know?
hard
So
with. Is
for me,
it's
like,
so easy for people to just break that bubble and be like, hey, no. And it's like, no, man, I don't have to answer that. Stay over there, please.
yeah.
I don't
Stay
no,
over there, please.
I
Like,
don't I know.
This is my space.
I
Right
don't
here.
think that's
Don't
totally.
invade it. And it's like I don't have the right to say that sometimes. Even
No,
that feeling, it's like, what's wrong with you? Why?
no,
you can feel that
I
way.
think you have the right to say it. I don't think it's.
This man needs a little bit of a
That's
high
sort of
gain
like,
amp.
this is my space.
Just sort of a little breakup.
I don't totally like.
Yeah, when he's plugged into the amp, for some reason he gets a different like.
space so
Well,
much.
there's
No,
obvious
I
reason.
can
Yes.
produce the
No, it's
sound he's
normal
looking
to
for.
me, but it's also cool.
I have it all sitting at home to give him just a
You know
little
what
bit
I
of
mean?
that Delta
And
Blues
I
dirty.
think that there's like
Good.
I don't think it has to be one way or the other.
I
You know what I
I'm
mean?
glad that's the
I
direction.
relate to
Yeah.
I'm really glad that's the direction.
I relate to
Yeah.
So we
I
gotta
just
set a
don't
date up one
understand
time with
where
some people
it's
that you want
okay.
over, and I'll bring some of my toys.
No,
over.
I think it's
The one that you have already, the one that you left here already has him wild.
Oh, you should see my full setup.
Yeah.
Has Zach wound?
Yeah.
Zach, next time I know you're coming, I'll bring a nice little setup for you to play on.
That,
I have
like,
a nice
find
little.
comfort in sharing
I use bass amps,
spaces with people
so you got more
a
control
lot.
over tone.
Yeah.
But
when you're
if
using a
I'm
guitar.
touched by a
But I
strange
also
or
have two
something, like I
pedal boards
remember
going to
times
it. There's
when
one that goes
an
through the
old
front
lady
and one
would
that
like
goes through
put
the
the
effects
tag
loop.
of my shirt back
So you
under
get
my
lots
shirt
of different kinds of sounds.
or something like that.
Yeah.
It just
So,
instantly sends me into a
Most
panic.
of
And
the
I'm like,
time,
why
I'm
did you do
gaining
that?
two
I had like
going
a
into
meltdown basically. I
band.
shut down. I can't
So I
speak.
can
I
really
can't
push those
think.
tubes at a low volume
I
and
just
give you that
panic.
nice classic
Oh, I'm such a boy.
bluesy tone.
But like if if it's like situations where I'm more expecting it or like in a crowded place.
You're
or
around
whatever,
someone who you have like
or
you
anything like
know
that.
the person.
Anything like that.
You're around the person you know.
Or if I'm in a situation where I'm anticipating it, like someone's gonna bump into me at some point, or whatever, because it's busy here.
Because if he
You know,
did it on
non-COVID.
because if he did it on a random whim,
Oh yeah,
would
if
that,
he,
right?
although he has startled me.
Yeah, I do it. I do
That's
it.
why you're like I'm
Very
more.
He startles me sometimes where he'll just like poke me or something. I completely what just happened?
I'm fucked that way because, and I want to
You're
put it.
focused, yeah.
No, I want to put this down to you. Part of it is hanging out in gay clubs, and so that degree of somebody, and I want to kind of go in a hot chick sort of way, in this sort of way, like the idea of walking into a bar and just somebody being physical or hitting on you in kind of a thing. It's you play a certain degree of damage control in the whole way.
Energy of recognition.
I need a good coffee.
No, but it's not just energy of recognition. It's also the fact that you're playing damage control the whole time. So if somebody's touching you, I've had uncomfortable moments where it's just somebody's like kind of grabbing your dick. Or
You're not scared you're gonna break that?
Just
Or is it like real thick enough? So
you know what I mean? But you're still having to deal with
the aftermath.
No, not the aftermath. Like while you're dealing with it, like people are going to
It has more of an eerie sound to
be kind of hitting on you and being really inside your space, and you have to kind of deal with this. Yeah.
We can grab the amp out of the hallway.
Yeah, kind of.
We're just like you.
They're going off in their own world now.
Hot.
yeah,
but yeah,
they're
like
just
I've
having
had
general
that in gay clubs
conversation
and
now.
stuff just because that was a place. Because
You keep the mic there. Well, they're not really listening.
if you're looking for getting fucking hammered real quick on somebody else's dime, gay clubs are with it.
You have a chord already? Shoot, I don't gotta dig it out. That's fine.
You just play the fucking thing, and the
Well,
fact
not
is
myself,
you gotta deal with
clearly.
the touching.
Well, all you really have to do is plug out the 50 footer, but I think that's a little bit more impedance
But
than required for this situation.
The only gay club I've ever been to on a really slow night.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
but
Brand new fucking
I look at it as kind of the,
just like 2 months ago.
I see this kind of the hot chick method. You know, what I
I
mean?
was supposed to get it like
I know
4 or
lots
6
of
months
women
ago from
that
Lionel
use
McQuaid,
the same
but
method, and they're
this
perfectly
Cajon,
fine dealing with, you know, the touching or whatever. It's
just
knowing
put
your
it off for a little bit,
boundaries and knowing
and
when
then
to stay
ended
safe
up
in it.
getting this
And
one
it's a game you play.
when they opened up,
You know,
Yeah.
it had it.
and then
it
shortly
has
after
been-
that, like everything closed back down. So I was just like, damn,
It has
didn't even get a chance to use it.
benefits.
Yeah.
And
But
it's not something where you can sit there and go like, this is my space and I am an
I wonder what it would sound like with the pillow
It's like-
inside of it, though.
Flow.
Yeah, so like,
you gotta
Yeah.
In case you didn't realize.
so that might
how
not.
you have to deal with the.
No, but you're
Yeah,
but
there's
you're-
like a.
Yeah.
Oh man.
You know what I mean?
All
It's
right,
like,
so,
it's like if you go to church
yeah,
or
we're
something
gonna
like that, you gotta deal with
tune
them
out.
hugging
Like,
you or whatever.
y'all been seeing us all day.
You know, same sort of
Conversation's
contact.
fluid. But
It's
yeah,
like
we
different
go.
sort of cultural
We just go
boundaries.
get into some jamming.
Prior to the.
This has been the Savage Circle. Y'all been with us most of the day, anyways. So y'all have a good one, and tune in next week where we have another dish
Oh, dude, I grew up Catholic.
and some more to dish.
So it's just